Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen Rose, remember on Saturday when DJ Augustine hit that big shot and the Magic won Game 1 against the Raptors in Toronto, and we were all talking about the Magic young core and the Raptors being bad in all their Game 1s. Well, everything changed in Game 2. They waxed the Magic. Like, this was not even competitive. Kawhi Leonard was particularly efficient and excellent. He had 37 points, 15 for 22. Jalen Rose, what did you think about Kawhi's dominant performance?
So growing up, like many people that are listening to our podcast on a daily basis or watching our television show every day at 2 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2, I played a lot of video games.
Oh.
Atari, ColecoVision, Nintendo, PS, the list goes on and on and on.
Okay.
Watching Kawhi Leonard play with his level of stoic demeanor and his efficiency is when you played against a computer. That's what that reminds me of.
That's a good point.
Like, he has no wasted motion. Like, you know when you watch a player play and they do 8 dribbles when they really can do 4?
Even someone as good as Steph goes between the legs 3 times, behind the back, kind of like sizes everybody up. James does it too.
No wasted motion, especially when he's feeling good about his game. And the other thing that I like is, even though he's a knockdown three-point shooter, off the catch and off the dribble, he don't settle. Like, this move that he got where he catch it on the wing either side, and he can hit you going baseline and basically fall behind the backboard on both sides and make that jump shot, like, that's a signature shot for him. He can play in the post, he can duck in, he'll dunk on you. Like, he's become one of the most efficient and effective offensive players in the entire game, and it showed in Game 2.
So, kind of like we were talking about Jamal Murray, like Nikola Vucevic, where you been at? He had 6 points in this game, and it wasn't for lack of trying. Like, they're trying to get him the ball, they're trying to get him things. He just felt uncomfortable and bothered, and he was an all-star this year. Like, he was their go-to guy. What's happening with him?
This is why a vet like Serge Ibaka, who used to play in Orlando, is so very key. This is why you acquire a Marc Gasol, another big body, and both of those guys can shoot from the perimeter. So it takes him out of the paint on one side, but yet they can body him and make him work when he has the ball offensively. And so they did a terrific job limiting the first-time All-Star. And when you do that, it now takes away the open threes, because now you're not collapsing down. You're not double teaming. You're not trying to collapse on the rebounds. And so they did a terrific job in Game 2, and they needed to, because obviously they couldn't afford to go down 0-2.
Vucevic had 6 rebounds and 6 points. Like,
and he'll walk in double-double.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and he only had 7 shot attempts. It just felt like where is Vucevic in this series?
You push him off his spot, you front him a little bit, you play behind him, you make him work defensively, you speed up the game, you put him in pick and roll, where his man is the one that's the screener.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden now you're attacking their best player. DJ Augustine isn't having a game like he had.
Not even
and
close.
Then the Raptors playing with a sense of desperation as a squad that hasn't met expectations as a franchise the last couple of years. This is why you bring in Danny Green and obviously Kawhi Leonard.
Part of the story of this game was the play of Kyle Lowry. Do you remember how many points Kyle Lowry scored in Game 1?
As many as you and I did.
0 points. And there was a lot of talk about Kyle Lowry that I'm sure got to him between Game 1 and Game 2. And he came out and he established himself early. Like, he scored early on in the game, and he ended up with a very good game, 22 points, 7 assists, and just generally played well, especially up against Augustine, who kind of got the best of him in Game 1. He has a storied history of playing poorly in the playoffs. What do you think mentally he's doing right now, and what adjustment did he make?
So this is the gut check, because you hear exactly like you just said what the chatter is that surrounds your name. People hope to block out the noise, but some people feed off of it. But either way, it's going to happen, because it's around you, it's around your friends, it's around your family, and he knows, regardless of what the Raptors do in the regular season, everybody's going to say, maybe you got rid of Casey. Maybe you traded DeRozan. what is Kyle Lowry going to do in the playoffs?
I mean, we started talking about that like the All-Star break. You know, like that conversation starts 3 months ago, and it continues until Game 1, and I think it was in his head a little bit in Game 1.
Absolutely. And by the way, you can't play a game where your all-star point guard has 0 points and win at home. Like
they almost did.
Right.
They almost did.
But that's more the exception than the rule. And so he did come out aggressive. He was knocking down shots. He always sacrifices his body. He always takes charges. But when he's scoring over 20, now the dynamics of the team look different, and it frees up Pascal Siakam for drives.
Yep.
Kawhi Leonard for drives. And so it really is the thing that drives their offense other than the obvious. And so that's why they're going to need him to not only make shots, but make shots at a high clip.
Yep, and the thing about him is he does not, like when they had DeRozan and Lowry, it just felt like they only had DeRozan and Lowry, but now they've got Siakam who's made a leap, and Serge Ibaka who can knock down shots, and they've got Gasol who can hit an open shot, and of course they have Kawhi Leonard. Like I think he's in a better position now because there's less pressure on him to contribute.
Oh, and by the way, you're not playing well? Fred VanVleet, come on in here.
Here you go. Yeah,
no doubt about it.
Take a little breath.
And what they'll do is instead of taking them out a lot of times, they'll play them together. They'll give him a chance to get his shots off. But then in Game 1, when he's not making them, they'll just slide and take him out. And so they've now built out their roster, and Masai Ujiri's did a terrific job of creating a level of balance with their team that if he does struggle, you have more people to initiate offense.
Orlando has been excellent at home, especially in the last 2 months. Do you think they can get 1 or 2 in Orlando?
I do. This is a series now.
You think so?
I'm picking the Raptors to win it, but
of course.
I think the Magic win one of those games at home.
I'm not sure. We'll see, but I think that the Raptors got a little wake-up call in Game 1 and kind of figured it out in Game 2.
Watch
we'll see
Gordon.
how that goes.
I think he has a big game and they get one.
Well, if the Raptors do happen to lose, right, people are going to talk about the Drake curse. The Drake curse is something that's been permeating throughout the sports world for quite some time.
This dude is winning at life. How can he be a curse?
But his teams are losing. It seems like whenever he puts on a jersey or supports somebody, then all of a sudden now, see, here he's taking a picture with PSG's Kurzawa. And what do? They lose. So now we have ASC Roma saying all Roma players are forbidden from taking a picture with Drake. Roma is a huge team. A huge team in Europe, and they're forbidding, that's the official account, forbidding their players from taking a picture with Drake. What do you think about Roma banning players from taking a picture with Drake?
I think the players ain't gonna listen. That's what I think.
Like, I'll just not post it.
He's an international superstar. They're trying to go to his shows. They're trying to break bread. Like, they're not gonna think that their affiliation with somebody that's not in uniform is gonna affect their performance. They're gonna think like I think. Like, I understand that there's ties to him wearing teams' hoodies or jerseys and them losing. But I'm pretty sure you can flip it and show him wearing the gear of something else, and they're probably successful at it. So it is what it is, but it's funny.
Have you noticed in this Raptors Magic series, Drake is taking a bit of a back seat? Do you think that he's doing that intentionally to try to help the team?
Oh, so it was his fault they lost Game 1?
Of course it was.
He wasn't even there.
It was. I know, that's what I'm saying. That's my point.
So let me get this right.
So you know that Drake knows the Raptors are going to be in the playoffs, okay? He knows they're going to be in the playoffs, and he's missing some games.
Dude, I got shows. I'm getting 150,000.
He had shows last year and the year before, but you saw he was basically on the team on the court.
Man, he probably getting $150,000, $200,000 a show. You think I'm about to be in a basketball game?
He's staying away on purpose.
Man, please, I'm about to go do 5 shows. Y'all get out of the first round and come holler at me.
I also do want to say I had the pleasure of meeting him. He's one of the nicest, most genuine people in the world. Like, he's like truly, truly a nice guy.
And that's the homie. I remember watching him come up in the T-Dot back in the day.
In my mind, the most intriguing series of all 8 of the series is between the Blazers and the Thunder, and we'll discuss it right after this.